I wanted to start off this video by saying that this is just a message coming through for the collective. It is not directed at anyone, and it's really just like sort of like a preface to something going on in my life and realizations and realities that I've come to understand, and just me putting it into words and dissecting it to put it into a message because I felt called to do this message and to use what's going on with me or what happened with me as an example. It's gonna be very vague when it comes to my stuff because I know there are people who watch my stuff just to know my business, and it's just something else. But anyway, so the message here is that you'll lose the opportunities that are presented to you by the universe when it comes to situations and different in general. Okay, for myself, it was the opportunity to grow in a connection with somebody at a deeper level because of the interference of what others might say from their end, and for my end is whether what I was doing was right or wrong. So based on my indoctrination, by the way, my religious indoctrination and cultural and societal indoctrination, okay, I won't go further into that, but that situation did have a lesson for me. And at the other side of it, I've come to realize how much we missed me, myself, and the other person, not just myself and not just them, because at some point I was like, well, they're missing out, right? We always tend to do that, like that ego in us is like, they're the ones who messed up or they're the ones who missed out. But in reality, as we both missed out. That's the conclusion that I'm coming to terms with. That is the conclusion that I've come to terms with in understanding that energy and that message of like, sometimes you miss the opportunities that are presented to you based on old programming in your mind, old programming, subconscious programming based on societal structure, based on religious factors, indoctrination, based on how you were raised, how what your parents told you, even what you saw, what your parents did, and whatnot. And it may not have even been what they said. It might have been what you saw, how you saw other people behave, and also this like unspoken like expectation from many people to follow certain rules and certain things and how things should be, and a lot of shoulds, right? But many of us in our generation, at least for mine, and maybe younger generations, millennial, and I'm speaking in terms of Generation Z. Anyway, so I'm millennial, and our generation and maybe younger generations like Generation Z, as I was saying, have come to an understanding that not just because our parents did it or our parents taught this, or because religion has taught us this, or books have taught us this, or old white men taught this to us in their books, doesn't mean, or cultural, or passed down through generation and generation, it does not mean that that's the right thing to do. And so this is a testament that you can lose opportunities, just in like that example. My example is in connection with another person, but also like when it comes to like job opportunities, when it comes to you being able to do something that you really want to do, and you may have got an opportunity and then you decide against it simply because of what other people might think about you. You're not putting yourself out there, perhaps for some of you, or like, for many, it's not putting themselves out there, like sharing their creativity, sharing their thoughts, sharing what it is that they want to share with others. Clearing that throat chakra, okay. And having that like setback of like, I can't do that mentality of I cannot go ahead with this and I cannot do this because this is not something that would be approved of. But in reality, it's like, who cares what other people think? And I know that a lot of people say that, and so like I think that there's the misconception that that means that you don't care about other people's opinions in sense of like they're them, like you don't care about them. But in reality, it just means that you don't care the judgments that others may carry towards your decisions in life. Because yes, we should care about someone else's feelings, but at the end of the day, we cannot be responsible for people's feelings, because if a decision that we make is something that hurts someone else's feelings, and it's not a decision that we're making on purpose to hurt someone else's feelings, okay, don't get me wrong, there's a difference there. But if that decision is because we know in our hearts is right for us, it is, we are going against ourselves and we are being dishonest with ourselves and therefore dishonest with everyone around us, then that means that going against that in actuality is like putting ourselves in a space of becoming depressed, becoming anxious, becoming upset, or putting on years into our lives being stressed all the time. Because why? Because we're not being honest with ourselves, and in doing that we're not being honest with others. And we think that by following the crowd or following what it's a prejudice really in our minds that we think someone else is judging us for it, but a lot of times it's the judgments that we carry ourselves. And even if there are people that are judging based on whatever it is that they're carrying, whatever programming they're carrying, that is something, it just means like not caring what they think, just means like not being in that space of like having to live in their expectations and other people's expectations, having to live in the way that they decide is best, maybe for them, maybe if that expectation and the judgments comes from because they haven't made a decision for themselves, so they hold it against everyone who does make those decisions, or they have made decisions in their lives that they're regretful about, or they feel were mistakes, and so they don't want to see you make those same mistakes. But the thing is, like, you can only find out for yourself if that is true. Because if you continue to live a life that is based on someone else's expectations and someone else's perception of what needs to be, then you will forever have something in the back of your mind telling you that you're not 100% satisfied in life, because you're not truly living this life with how you were meant to live it. Because we all have our individual blueprints in our lives, our individual paths, okay? Regardless of how much connection we have our individual blueprints that in turn, if we are fully authentic to ourselves and fully authentic with others, meaning if we're truly honest with ourselves and what's really for us and the right path for us, and we really follow the calling of our hearts, the calling of our souls, and we follow those callings however they may come, whether that's a job, whether that's a location, whether that's a connection, whether that's a decision in life, a big major decision in life, okay? That in it of itself, it's gonna be something that you have to live with for the rest of your life. So if you're making whatever decision you make, regardless of what decision you make, that is yours to have. That is yours to realize whether it is for you to pan out or not, okay? And no one else can tell you whether that is for you or not. No one else can live your life. No one else goes to sleep in your bed at night with your thoughts. You do, with your soul. No one else will have to answer to your soul and to your actions and your decisions except you. Okay, so one of the main things that people go and have in their deathbeds are the regrets that they have of their what ifs. What if I would have done this? What if I would have done that? So don't go to your deathbeds with any what ifs, okay? Decide for yourself, because that's ultimately what's gonna help you gain any clarity for yourself that you need, regardless of other people. Maybe somebody else does have a point in what they say, but at the end of the day, you can't live with that regret. You will go for the rest of your life with that regret or with that what if.